What's up, guys? Welcome to Faith and Flourish. um, Approximately 1 week ago, on July 30th, I'm an Uber driver, and I drive in Richmond, Virginia, and it was a typical night. I had deliveries on. I did a few deliveries. Um, I decided to do it on a Thursday night, going into Friday morning to get the maybe airport people. So I got my first ride, and I was like, cool, maybe it's a passenger, my first airport ride. And so I go to pick up the person. It is not. The name was Rose. It was not Rose. It was a guy, but that's typical at that time. I go and I talk to this guy, and he verifies the name. He comes out there. He doesn't have me waiting, so I appreciate that. And so I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, it's good. Having a good night. I just wanted to stop at Wawa. That's typical before my airport people come. And so I'm like, okay. So, I'm normal. This is a normal ride. So, we have a conversation. Long story short is, he told me that he was an atheist, and he told me, and I was an atheist too. I told him I was atheist, and he said he was atheist. But I said that God was still good. So, after, we had a conversation, but the sum of the story was God is still good no matter what life brings you. So, anyways, he go to Wawa, so I was like, I'm gonna get out, and I'm gonna go in the store, and I'm gonna get me, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, because, after a while, I gotta go to the bathroom. So, I go in, and I go to the bathroom, and I come back out, and I notice that he's not there, there. But anyways, but he comes out shortly after me. So so I'm like, oh, you didn't get anything, He's like, oh, got me a black, and, had to go to the bathroom too. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, so I'll say sure. So I was like, cool, well, let's get you home. So I'm driving, and I drive, my hands down. But I'm driving, and, Expectations by Wale was playing, and it's a pretty long story, but at the end of the story, at the end of the song, he said, don't leave me here for dead. And then the instrumental part comes on, and he slowly comes up over my shoulder with a gun, and he puts it to my neck, although my neck was a little more exposed, obviously. So, it's like this. So he puts it to my neck, and, well, he's hovering over me. And I don't know what's going on, but he tells me to put my hands up. And, I drive with my hands down, and long story short, I didn't know what he was going to do. All I knew is he was just telling me to go certain places. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I asked, once he took my phone, he took my car, and I am alive, and I am good, and I found the way. But this happened around this time, a week ago, around 4 a.m., I was running on Laburnum and Chamberlain, calling 911 because this guy stole my car and my phone. So, anyways, your favorite Uber driver. No, God is still good. God is still good. And God wanted me to come on here. And it's so crazy. That was my Uber rental car. The struggle was already real because this is my real car. So it's broken down. And it's the motor or something like that. But, he seemed like a young kid. We had just talked, had a great conversation. I didn't expect that, you know what I'm saying? And he really hit the one who was struggling. But God is still good. And long story short, it seems like the detectives did their job. I told my story, and I gave them all that I had, and they was able to find the car, but I don't have my phone, and still I just already was struggling. So I did also just get my eviction, which people telling me to fight, so I'm gonna fight even though my landlord just got her money. But God is still good. God is still good. But God said, come be transparent. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let you know, like, I did get a job early part of this year. I got a job as a counselor. I was working as a counselor. And they they sent me in there, untrained, you know what I'm saying? And I did not know what I was doing, but I did the best I could, because God is with me, and I can minister to people, as God gives it to me. But I'm a survivor of domestic violence. That traumatized you in another way. I jumped into another relationship, lost that, but I was already vulnerable in a crazy place. I'm still this educated black woman and just feel so unprotected. But I do feel protected by God. And all of this to say, this is me introducing myself. And while I know that now the story went a little different, and maybe he was a younger kid and he didn't maybe mean no harm, but he told me he was an atheist. So again, faith and flourish, this ministry must go on. You get what I'm saying? And like I told the kid, listen, kid, at this point, you might as well just turn yourself in. Like, at this point, and walk out this healing journey. I have decided to follow Jesus. I think you should too. You get what I'm saying? You should turn yourself in and give your life to Yeshua, Jesus, and get to know him and let the healing begin. You know what I'm saying? Because you already caught. So let the healing begin. You get what I'm saying? I forgive you. I forgave you the moment that you did it. I forgave you, and I still am going to say God is still good. And I don't know what's going to happen with all of this, but a girl is tired. She traumatized and more traumatized, and just trying to get up. But the enemy keep knocking me down because I'm feared by hell. I get it now. Like, that's how you know when the enemy, like, really wants you dead. The enemy been trying to kill me for a long time. Just kill my purpose. Just, you get what I'm saying? Because if I keep being traumatized, then he feels like he got away on me. So God said, get in this car, your car that I gave you, and you get on there, and you're going to say what happened to you. And you're going to tell the kid if he ever sees it. Yo, God still loves you. I still love you too, because God tells me to still love you. And the way that I was ministering to you, like, you still got purpose after this. Just don't lose it to this dumb stuff. This is stupid. You did all of this for what? For what? You was on Wawa. You was on the camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's my thing too. I feel failed. Like, y'all didn't know about this. This happened in Richmond or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if I would have looked a little differently, if my skin would have looked a little differently or whatever like that, maybe they would have plastered this black kid in his face and said, something. But You know, I don't know. And the same thing, my domestic violence, it was a white guy. When I went to put a restraining order against him, that Caucasian judge looked at me like, yo, what? But even just the injustice of the mental health response in the system, like, oh, I'm supposed to be good now that I'm a little traumatized. I'm not ready to drive again, but I will be ready to drive because I'm not going to let the enemy conquer me. I love to drive, you know, but I'm not going to drive and put passengers in my car now. God is still good. God is so good. That's all I got to say. This can't be no longer than this. So y'all be blessed. And if you ever know me as Sherelle Corsica Beverly was my government name, but she died. And now the new me in Yeshua can live. And I'm married to God. And my name is Love Rose Beverly. So please refer to me as that. No longer Sherelle. Thanks. Faith and flourish out. Be blessed, y'all.